In the history of the FBI, there is only one case of air piracy that remains unsolved. One man who committed the perfect crime, stepped out of a plane at 10,000 feet into a freezing storm, and completely vanished. He didn't leave a fingerprint. He didn't leave a name. What he left was a mystery that has baffled investigators, treasure hunters, and the entire world for over 50 years. Did he survive the impossible drop into the brutal wilderness? Or was it a suicide mission dressed as a heist? Welcome to Vault of Secrets. Today, we are breaking down the greatest vanishing act in American history, the chilling mystery of D.B. Cooper. The date is November 24, 1971. It's the day before Thanksgiving. A man carrying a black attaché case approaches the Northwest Orient Airlines counter in Portland, Oregon. He uses cash to buy a one-way ticket to Seattle. The name he gives the ticket agent: Dan Cooper. Cooper boards Flight 305. He is described by witnesses as a quiet man in his mid-40s, wearing a dark business suit, a black tie, and dark sunglasses. He takes seat 18C, at the back of the plane. He orders a bourbon and 7-Up, lights a cigarette, and waits. Shortly after takeoff, Cooper hands a folded note to a 23-year-old flight attendant named Florence Schaffner. Thinking he is just a lonely businessman slipping her his phone number, she drops the note unopened into her purse. But Cooper leans in closer. In a calm, polite voice, he whispers, "Miss, you'd better look at that note.
It's not safe to talk here.
I have a bomb." Florence opens the paper. The handwritten message is clear. He demands $200,000 in negotiable American currency, for parachutes, and a fuel truck standing by in Seattle to refuel the plane upon arrival. To prove he isn't bluffing, Cooper cracks open his briefcase. Inside, Florence sees 8 red cylinders, dynamite, connected by thick red wires to a large cylindrical battery. Florence walks to the cockpit to inform the captain. The flight crew contacts Seattle Air Traffic Control, and the FBI is immediately alerted. The president of Northwest Orient Airlines authorizes payment of the ransom and orders all employees to cooperate fully with the hijacker. For the next 2 hours, Flight 305 circles above the Puget Sound area. Inside the cabin, the other 36 passengers have no idea they are being hijacked. They are told the flight is delayed due to a mechanical issue. Cooper remains completely calm. He isn't angry. He isn't sweating. He even pays his drink tab and offers the flight attendant a tip. On the ground, the FBI frantically scrambles to meet his demands. They gather $200,000, which is roughly $1.5 million today, all in $20 bills. They photograph the serial numbers of every single bill. They also acquire 4 civilian parachutes from a local skydiving school. At 5:39 p.m., the plane lands in Seattle. Cooper demands that the cabin lights be turned off to prevent FBI snipers from taking a shot. Once the cash and parachutes are brought on board, Cooper allows all 36 passengers and 2 flight attendants to leave the plane. But the nightmare is far from over. For the pilot, the co-pilot, and the flight engineer, the real terrifying journey is about to begin. Cooper orders the flight crew back into the air. His destination: Mexico City. But he gives them very specific, bizarre instructions. The plane must fly at a dangerously slow speed of 170 knots. The altitude must remain below 10,000 feet. The landing gear must stay down, and the cabin must remain unpressurized. At 7:40 p.m., the Boeing 727 takes off into a violent, freezing rainstorm. The pitch-black sky over the Pacific Northwest is treacherous. 2 F-106 fighter jets are secretly tailing the airliner, but due to the heavy storm and poor visibility, they can't see what is happening. Around 8 p.m., a warning light flashes in the cockpit. The rear aft stairs of the plane have been deployed. The pilots feel a sudden shift in air pressure. The plane's nose pitches upward. Somewhere over the dense, freezing wilderness of Washington state, D.B. Cooper steps onto the rear staircase. He ties the heavy bag of money to his waist, adjusts his parachute, and walks down into the freezing, 200-mile-per-hour wind. He jumps into the pitch-black void. And Dan Cooper ceases to exist. When the plane finally lands safely in Reno, Nevada, heavily armed FBI agents storm the cabin. But it's empty. Only 2 of the 4 parachutes remain, along with Cooper's black tie and a single pearl tie clip. The FBI launches Operation Norjack. They comb through thousands of square miles of rugged, mountainous terrain. They question over 800 suspects. But they find absolutely nothing. No body. No parachute. No money. Many experts argue that no one could survive that jump. The freezing temperatures, the heavy clothing, the sheer drop into pine trees, it was certain death. But then, 9 years later, a breakthrough. In 1980, an 8-year-old boy named Brian Ingram is digging a fire pit on the sandy banks of the Columbia River, known as Tina Bar. His shovel hits something. He pulls up 3 bundles of heavily decayed, rotting $20 bills. The total comes to $5,800. The FBI checks the serial numbers. It's a direct match to D.B. Cooper's ransom money. But how did the money get there? Did it wash down the river from his body? Or did he plant it there to throw investigators off his trail? In 2016, the FBI officially closed the D.B. Cooper case, acknowledging that the mastermind may never be identified. Was he an experienced paratrooper? A disgruntled aviation worker? Or a man who simply got swallowed by the forest he tried to conquer? What do you think happened to D.B. Cooper? Let us know your theory in the comments below. If you love this deep dive into America's greatest unsolved heist, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Until next time, keep questioning everything, right here on Vault of Secrets.